The Dead Cities or Forgotten Cities are a group of 700 abandoned settlements in northwest Syria between Aleppo and Idlib. Around 40 villages grouped in 8 archaeological parks situated in northwestern Syria provide an insight into rural life in late antiquity and during the Byzantine period. Most villages, which date from the 1st to 7th centuries, became abandoned between the 8th and 10th centuries. The settlements feature the well-preserved architectural remains of dwellings, pagan temples, churches, cisterns, bathhouses, etc. Important dead cities include the Church of St. Simeon Stylites, Sargilla and Al-Bara. The dead cities are situated in an elevated area of limestone known as limestone massif. These ancient settlements cover an area 20 to 40 kilometers wide and some 140 kilometers long. The massif includes 3 groups of highlands. The first is the northern group of Mount Simeon and Mount Kurd. The second middle group is the group of Haram Mountains. The third southern group is the group of Zawiya Mountain. History. Chris Wickham, in the authoritative survey of the post-Roman world, framing the early Middle Ages, argues that these were settlements of prosperous peasants which have few or no specifically urban features. The impressive remains of domestic architecture are the result of the prosperity of peasants who benefited from a strong international trade in olive oil at the end of antiquity. Another argument is that these were prosperous cities that flourished because they were located along major trade routes in the Byzantine Empire, and not in merely prosperous peasant settlements. After conquest by the Arabs, the trade routes changed, and as a result these towns lost the majority of the business which fostered their economies. On this view, settlers eventually abandoned the towns and headed for other cities that were flourishing under the Arabs and the Umayyads. As increasing urbanization took its toll, the ancient villages of the dead cities illustrate the transition from the ancient pagan world of the Roman Empire to Byzantine Christianity. The majority of the dead cities are well preserved, and tourists can access the sites quite freely despite the ongoing archaeological excavations and some restoration work, though some of the dead cities are quite difficult to reach without a guide. Relatively few of the dead cities have any archaeological excavations taking place, and unfortunately the majority of people living in close proximity to them have no understanding of their importance. However, the local inhabitants are always welcoming to visitors. Recently, most sites became easily accessible since many roads have been asphalted. There is a guidebook with a detailed map that is extremely useful for finding the lesser-known sites, the Church of St. Simeon Stylites and other archaeological sites in the mountains of Simeon and Halakha. Dead sites were inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2011, under the name of Ancient Villages of Northern Syria. Archaeological sites. Dead cities and archaeological sites in Mount Simeon and Mount Kurd near Aleppo include Kalota Castle and churches, located 20 kilometers northwest of Aleppo. The castle was originally built as a Roman temple during the 2nd century AD. After converting to Christianity, the temple was turned into a basilica within the 5th century. As a result of the wars between the Hammadanids and the Byzantine Empire, the church was turned into a castle during the 10th century. There are 2 well-preserved churches near the castle, the Eastern Church built in 492 and the Western Church of the 6th century. Karabsham's Basilica, one of the oldest, best-preserved Christian structures in the Levant, dates to the 4th century CE. The Byzantine Church is located 21 kilometers northwest of Aleppo. Phaeferton Church, a half-ruined late Roman basilica, dates to 372 AD. It is located 22 kilometers northwest of Aleppo. According to the Aleppian historian Abdullah Hajar, Seyferton Basilica is among the oldest dated churches in the world. Sirkanya village, located 23 kilometers northwest of Aleppo, preserves the remains of an old Byzantine settlement with a half-ruined 6th century chapel. Kafr settlement in Burj Haida village, located 24 kilometers northwest of Aleppo, has many half-ruined Christian structures dating back to the 4th and 6th centuries. Sinha historic settlement, locally known as Simka, is located 24 kilometers northwest of Aleppo in an isolated valley. The village was inhabited between the 2nd and 7th centuries. Its basilica is among the oldest churches in Syria and dates back to the 4th century, while the nearby chapel is 6th century. Mushabig Basilica, a well-preserved church from the second half of the 5th century, is located 25 kilometers west of Aleppo, near the town of Darat-Azzeh. Barjaka, a Burj Suleiman village, is located 26 kilometers northwest of Aleppo. The site has remnants of an old hermit tower and a well-preserved chapel from the 6th century. Churches of Sheikh Suleiman village, located 28 kilometers west of Aleppo, is notable for its 3 ancient churches. A ruined church located at the center of the village, a well-preserved southern basilica which was built in 602, and the Church of the Virgin Mary, which belongs to the late 5th century and is considered one of the most beautiful churches in northern Syria. There is a hermit tower in the northern side of the village. Kafr Nabo settlement, located 29 kilometers west of Aleppo, is an Assyrian settlement of the 9th century BC and the site of a Roman temple which was converted into a church. There are also well-preserved residential buildings from the 5th and 6th centuries. Urad, an ancient settlement, located 32 kilometers west of Aleppo, has many old basilicas. For example, the St. Julianus Maronite Monastery, where the shrine of St. Maron is located, and a basilica at the northern part of the village built in 561. Kimar settlement near Basuta village, located 35 kilometers northwest of Aleppo, is a 5th century CE village of the late Roman and Byzantine eras. It has many well-preserved churches, towers and old water cisterns. Church of St. Simeon Stylites is one of the most celebrated ecclesiastical monuments in Syria and among the oldest standing Christian churches in the world. It is located about 35 kilometers northwest of Aleppo. Shugan village, located 40 kilometers northwest of Aleppo, is home to 2 half-ruined churches and old water cisterns. Ain Dara Temple, an Iron Age Syro-Hittite temple dating between the 10th and 8th centuries BC, is 45 kilometers northwest of Aleppo. Bab al-Hawa village, located 50 kilometers west of Aleppo on the Turkish border, is the site of several 4th century churches and a well-preserved historical gate from the 6th century AD. Syris, an ancient city located 65 kilometers north of Aleppo, is the site of Saints Cosmas and Damian Church, as well as a Roman amphitheatre and 2 old Roman bridges. Many other sites and dead cities in the area are located at various distances around Aleppo and Idlib. Sarjila, Ebla, Bara, Qalb Loza Basilica, Akira Byzantine Church, Deir Mishmish Church, Benistar Monastery, Deir Aman Churches, Sarjabal Settlement, Tel Ade Church and Monastery, and other settlements found in Jabal Halakha region. Photo gallery. Ancient villages of northern Syria.